On this episode of the Pop Shop Show, we make something sticky and delicious. Hi there, and thanks for tuning in again for the 6th episode of the Pop Shop Show, where we eat popcorn, talk popcorn, and most importantly, show you recipes that you can use at home. As you've seen already, we have a very special guest on the show today, and we're really excited to have her on. We're actually going to be making something that I grew up with. This is the world famous Lisa's Gooey Marshmallow Popcorn with the Lisa of Lisa's Passion for Popcorn, my mom. Come on. Thanks for being here, Mom. How you doing?
Great.
I know you're super excited to be here.
I am.
She doesn't really love being in front of people or on camera or anything like that. We've got your butter melted down real quick on this awesome gooey kind of caramel popcorn. Would you say that it's caramel popcorn?
Well, we call it, our family calls it gooey popcorn, caramel popcorn, because it has brown sugar in it. So
yeah, so it does have that caramelization there.
I never made this popcorn in the shop. Basically,
So it's super special.
Basically because didn't quite know how to bag it to
Yeah,
sell it.
and it will get harder if it's left out.
It does.
Becomes a baseball.
It doesn't like the air.
So it's better to be eaten fresh, as we did on a lot of Sunday movie nights at our house.
This was a Sunday night staple for our family.
Yeah.
I would make popcorn all week long, and then my kids would say, "Mom, please make gooey caramel popcorn."
Yes,
So we would.
and it was the best, and we really appreciated it. Or at least I'm saying that we do now. I don't know if I told you that I appreciated it at the time.
Probably not.
But real quick, for those of you who might not know that are watching at home, how Lisa got started, how that all went down, why don't you tell us a little bit about what got you making popcorn? I mean, they see the shop now, over 80 flavors, we ship it all over the place. How did that all begin?
Okay, I'm going to tell you that, but we're going to have to cook it at the same time. So I have a half a pound or 2 cups of butter in this pot, and it's melting down. Then I'm going to add a cup of brown sugar and 2 mini marshmallows.
Oh, my favorite part. Add marshmallows to any popcorn, and that's good for me. We ready?
Yep, you can just dump
Throw those in.
both of them in there.
So the butter is mostly melted, but there's still a little bit left in there. You don't need to wait until it fully caramelizes to do this.
Because you don't want to scorch the butter. So you want
Awesome.
it to be able to start melting down. So,
Second one?
yep, toss those in there, and then I'll just kind of keep stirring. You can cook this on high heat, but you do want to continually move it so that the marshmallows won't burn on the bottom. So I got started making popcorn 36 years ago now. My father-in-law, your grandpa, taught me how to make caramel corn in the back room of the Roy Theater, which doesn't exist anymore. They've torn that building down. But he taught me how to make caramel corn in a copper kettle with a big wooden oar. And it was really fun for a little while. And one Christmas Eve, I was there hand stirring caramel corn until 3 o'clock in the morning. And I decided this is not fun anymore. So I basically said I quit. I'm not going to do this anymore. And my father-in-law came the week between Christmas and New Year's with a used caramelizer kettle, not on a table, and he just plunked it down on the floor and said, "Just try and make caramel corn in this pot."
And for those that don't know what you're talking about, that's the electric heated kettle, has a stirrer that's built into it, so it would reduce the labor greatly, I'm assuming.
Correct. That's correct. So I thought, oh, the challenge is on. So I had to change my recipe a little bit and learn how to make caramel corn in that kettle. And that is history as it is said. Then I just kept adding more electric caramelized kettles as the business grew, and 36 years later, here we are. So I figured after 35 years of Lisa's passion for popcorn, it was time for me to retire and be a full-time grandma.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that. For those of you guys that have been into the shop, you've seen Brooke and I have Jay running around the shop. He's 18 months old, and he's causing us a lot of stress all the time. And Lisa's super happy to help out during Christmas time with helping out with Jay.
Yes, I am. Okay, now this is
Noah,
what-
zoom in
can
here.
you
Let's
see
get us a
what
better
that
look
looks
here.
like? That is just ooey gooey, lots of butter,
And it smells really good.
little bit of, and it's just about ready.
One more time for the close-up there, just so they know that it's...
All right, that's what it looks like.
You can still see a couple clumps with the marshmallows,
Little
so...
tinies, but I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to add vanilla. Now, I don't cook with recipes, and none of my popcorn recipes that I created at Lisa's Passion for Popcorn really had a recipe until I had really tested it a few times. But you're looking at about 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
It's so crazy that...
So this is now ready.
You're good.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You should know above everybody else.
Yeah.
Popcorn doesn't wait.
That's true, and that's so true of a lot of the recipes that we've shown you guys how to use, that they will be undercooked one moment and burnt the next. And so sometimes it does take a little bit of trial and error. Thank goodness that popcorn's a cheap ingredient, so you can try again, which we do all the time here at the shop.
And this is my favorite bowl to make this treat because it gives me lots of room to stir it around and give.
Yeah, we had to get an oversized mixing bowl for that. It's about 1.5 gallons of popcorn, which we usually suggest is going to give you 10 to 12 servings. But believe me, with this one, you're going to eat more than one serving. So that is not going to be 10. That usually does our family. That's usually 5 people right there per batch.
We really like popcorn.
That's true. I was just going to say that, you eyeballed so many recipes and you've got so many recipes committed to memory. When I started working here at the shop with my mom full time, I couldn't believe it. My brain just doesn't work that way. I wanted something written down. I wanted specific measurements. And Lisa would walk in and I was burning something and she would save it halfway through, just eyeballing every ingredient. It's incredible. Lots of fun to watch.
My family likes this really ooey and gooey, so I have, most recipes out there don't have quite this many marshmallows in it, but this is the way my family likes it.
And the more marshmallows, the better. I mean, who are we kidding,
So
right?
you can see how nice and sticky that is, and it's all nice and
Yeah, let's get
coated.
another close-up, Noah, if you could. Bring that in.
And it is.
It is very hot, so don't touch it with your hands right away.
It is very hot.
Even though it's tempting. Look at that.
But-
I love, you can see all that marshmallow stringing out. It is so
yummy.
good.
The longer it sits, this is also an excellent recipe if you want to make popcorn balls. You can put little plastic gloves on and put some pan spray on your gloves, and you can easily make popcorn balls. My family likes to just dig into this big bowl, so
Yeah, is it burning your hands or can I try some?
no, it's not burning.
Okay, cool. I'm going to have some and I'm going to ask you a couple more questions before we stop, okay? So, you told us about making popcorn with Grandpa Bill. That's my grandpa that has run the Kaysville Theater, if you're familiar, for so many years. And what was it like having your family work with you at the popcorn shop every day? I was here most of my life. I know Tyler and Chad spent a good amount of time here.
Little bit, but you were the child that spent the most time here. And some days it was great. I loved having my family here.
And others?
then some days it was really hard. I remember one day Zach climbed up on a big pallet full of popcorn seed, and he had it.
Oh my gosh.
Kept telling
That's
him,
so
we're going to
good.
go home in a minute. We're going to go home in a minute. And so pretty
How old was I?
soon, you were probably 4, maybe 4 years old.
That sounds about right.
Before you went to school. And climbed up on top of the pallet of seed and yelled at all of us, all the cooks and all the baggers, and said, "You're all fired, we're going home." So I knew it was time to pack him up and go home.
Yeah. And as the kids that work with us now can tell you, not a lot has changed in that department. No, and I can definitely relate, working with family and everything, it's really awesome one day, and, the other day it can be really stressful and taxing. Tara, could you get the phone? Calvin, could you get that? But anyways, why don't you try some? Do you want to eat any?
I know.
Okay, we'll save. That's true. Okay.
But it's
well,
yummy.
yes, it is definitely that. Make sure that you try this recipe at home. We called it sticky popcorn, and you can see why. It's sticking all over my fingers. And again, we'll post the recipe in the notes below the video. And this is sticky popcorn with Lisa Call of Lisa's Passion for Popcorn. And thanks again for watching the
But
Pop Shop Show.
Not anymore.
That's true. She is retired. Isn't that kind of sad for you, though? Like, even a little bit?
I miss the creativity. I always loved coming up with the new flavors and the new colors.
Yeah.
But I'm an old lady now, so.
I wouldn't say that. Anyways, thank you for watching this episode 6 of the Pop Shop Show, where we talk popcorn, eat popcorn, and most importantly, show you recipes that you can use at home.